Hello and welcome. Today we're diving deep into the largest and probably most underappreciated organ you own. Yep, we are talking about your integumentary system, that incredible living shield that is your skin, your hair, and your nails. So, let me start with a quick question. What do you think is the largest, heaviest, and most versatile organ in your entire body? It protects you from infection, it helps control your temperature, it even makes vitamins. No, it's not your heart or your brain, it's your skin. That amazing barrier that keeps the world out and you in. And it accounts for, get this, about 3 to 5 kilograms of your total body weight. But here's the thing, the integumentary system is so much more than just the skin. It's a whole system with its own team of what we call accessory structures. We're talking about every single hair on your body, your fingernails, your toenails, and all the tiny little glands that produce your sweat and oil. They all work together, just perfectly coordinated.
So, to really get a grip on all this, we're going to go on a little anatomical tour. Think of this as our itinerary. First, we'll get our bearings on the organ itself. Then, we'll dive into its 3-layered structure, check out all its cool built-in accessories, and finally, we'll uncover the incredible superpowers this whole system has.
All right, our tour is officially starting. We're going to begin on the outside and work our way in, peeling back the layers of this absolutely remarkable protective shield. So at its core, your skin is made of 3 really distinct layers. Right on top, we have the epidermis. That's our visible, waterproof barrier. Right below that is the dermis, which is like the busy hub of activity. And then, deepest of all is the hypodermis, which is basically the layer that insulates our body and anchors the skin to everything below it. Okay, let's start with that top layer, the epidermis. It's the only one you can actually see and touch. And what's really fascinating is that it's avascular, which is a fancy way of saying it has no blood vessels. Its cells, which are mostly these things called keratinocytes, are on a constant journey, from the moment they're born in the deepest part of this layer to the moment they're just flaked off the surface. Now, to remember the layers of the epidermis, from the top down, anatomists use this pretty handy, if slightly alarming, mnemonic. Come, let's get sunburned. Now don't worry, we'll get to that L in just a second, but the key idea here is that new cells are born way down at the bottom, in the stratum basale, and they get pushed upwards, changing and maturing as they go. And these layers, well, they have a whole cast of characters, each with a special job. That bottom basale layer, it's not just a cell factory for stem cells, it's also home to our pigment-producing melanocytes and our touch-sensing Merkel cells. Then you move up a level to the spinosum, and you find the immune system's frontline defenders, the Langerhans cells. And through it all, you have the keratinocytes, the workhorses building the tough protein that gives our skin its structure. Okay, so what about that missing L from our mnemonic? Well, it stands for stratum lucidum, which means the clear layer. And this extra tough layer is only found in what we call thick skin. You know, the kind on the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet? Everywhere else, you have thin skin, which only has the 4 layers. It's a perfect example of how structure matches function. You get more protection where there's more wear and tear.
Now let's dive deeper, past the epidermis and into the dermis. If the epidermis is the shield, then you can think of the dermis as the command center. It is packed with blood vessels, nerve endings, hair follicles, glands. It's the living, functional hub that supports that whole epidermis above it. And here's why that's so important. Your epidermis, that top layer, completely replaces itself every 4 to 6 weeks. That is exactly why, if you want a tattoo to be permanent, the ink has to get past that constantly shedding layer and down into the stable, living dermis. That stability is also why a deep cut can leave a permanent scar. The damage is in the layer that doesn't just replace itself every month.
The dermis itself actually has 2 parts. The top one, the papillary layer, has these wavy finger-like projections that, believe it or not, create our unique fingerprints. They also lock the dermis and epidermis together. Deeper down, the reticular layer is this dense web of collagen for strength and elastin for stretch. That's why your skin is so tough, but can still snap right back into place.
Okay, so that covers the skin itself. But remember, we said the integumentary system is a team effort. So let's continue our tour and take a look at all the built-in accessories that actually start out in these layers.
This toolkit includes pretty much everything you'd expect. All of your hair and nails, which, by the way, are made of dead keratinized cells, just like the top layer of your skin. It also includes 2 really important types of glands, sweat glands for cooling off, and sebaceous glands, which produce our natural oil, called sebum.
Now what's really interesting is that not all sweat is created equal.
We have two main types. Eccrine glands are pretty much everywhere, and they produce that watery sweat directly onto your skin to cool you down. But apocrine glands, they're found in places like your armpits and groin. They produce a thicker sweat with fats and proteins. And that sweat itself doesn't smell. The odor we call BO is actually caused by bacteria on our skin breaking it down.
And hey, have you ever wondered what goosebumps are? Well, each of your hair follicles is attached to this teeny tiny muscle called an erector pili. When you get cold or scared, these little muscles contract, pulling the hair straight up and creating that bumpy texture on your skin. It's a pretty neat little muscular reflex.
So we've seen all the intricate anatomy. Now it's time to zoom out and connect all these parts to the absolutely incredible jobs they do for us every single day. Let's talk about the system's superpowers.
First and foremost, your skin is your personal bodyguard. It provides this multi-layered defense system. Chemically, the oils and sweat on your skin are actually acidic, making it hard for bacteria to grow. Physically, those tough keratin cells block damage. Biologically, you've got immune cells constantly patrolling for any invaders. And of course, the melanin in your skin acts like a natural sunblock, absorbing harmful UV radiation. Your skin is also a master of thermoregulation. It's like a built-in climate control system. When you're hot, the blood vessels in your dermis widen, bringing warm blood closer to the surface to release heat. And of course, you sweat. When you're cold, those same vessels constrict, pulling blood deeper into your body to conserve your core heat. It's just an incredibly elegant and automatic process. Now here's a fact that might actually surprise you. Your skin acts as a blood reservoir. Yeah, at any given moment, about 5% of your body's entire blood volume is just hanging out in the vessels of your dermis. If other organs, like your muscles, need a boost, your nervous system can squeeze those vessels, pushing that blood into general circulation where it's needed most.
And finally, your skin is a chemical factory. When it's exposed to sunlight, it starts making vitamin D, which is an absolutely crucial nutrient your body needs to absorb calcium from your food. Without that vitamin D, your bones would get weak and brittle. It's a perfect example of how the integumentary and skeletal systems are directly linked.
So we'll end with this thought. The entire outer layer of your body, the part of you that you present to the world, completely replaces itself every month or so. Millions of cells are shed and replaced every single day. So, physically speaking, are you truly the same person you were a month ago? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining this explainer.